I'm Haley Taylor, and you're listening to the Rough Draft Diaries. Today we're checking in with the Toledo Public Library. It's been 3 years since we last interviewed Jason Kucsma, who at that time was newly appointed deputy director. He had just developed a new strategic plan for the library, which involved, first and foremost, emphasizing essential literacy for the library patrons, second, community engagement, and last but not least, fostering a culture of innovation for the library staff.
And we've really kind of been trying to change the culture here a little bit, and knowing that, when I came into an institution where some people have worked here for 30 years plus, and that takes some time to change, but I think people were really receptive to my presence, in part because I was here to empower people to do the work that they wanted to be doing.
But a lot has changed in the past 3 years for Jason. He's no longer the deputy director. He holds a new position. He's now the executive director of the library, taking up management from the late Clyde Scholes. A change in leadership that was unexpected, to say the least.
And the plan all along was to sort of work with the director and learn as much as I could while he was here before he retired. And he had announced his retirement in January of 2019. Shockingly, a few weeks later, he passed away, died on the job heading home for the evening on a Friday, which immediately kind of turned everything upside down. I had been appointed the acting director, and so the trustees went through a search process, and over the course of a handful of months, they interviewed a number of candidates, did a national search, and I was appointed director in August of 2019. And it was a busy year for us too, and because we opened the Mott branch, the new Mott branch on Dorr Street, and we also reopened the main library after a year-long closure for renovation. So it was a big year, a lot of transition, a lot of uncertainty, I think, for us as an organization, and we've really just been, it was a really valuable development for us as an organization, helped us get to where we are right now.
Jason is, of course, referring to the new challenges of this new year. If 2019 taught the library staff how to maneuver a difficult year, then they were ahead of the game for 2020.
Around March 10th or 11th, when the WHO announced that this was, in fact, a global pandemic, I sat down with the leadership team and said, from what I'm seeing here, we're going to have to close. It's just a matter of when. And as a team, we decided that closing sooner meant we would reap some of the benefits of actually closing, meaning that we would reduce exposure, reduce the chances of the library becoming a vector for spread. So we closed after business on March 14th. And we basically pivoted everything to the library's other big branch, which is online at Toledo-Library.org. So we pivoted to online, and it was not until, I guess, the first week or so of June that we started bringing back curbside services and lots of to-go services for people at our buildings.
Curbside service means that you can check out books and music online and then pick up the resources outside the front door of the library in a designated area. When you return the items, they sit in quarantine for 72 hours before being sanitized by the staff and then being returned to circulation. It's been a big shift for library employees and for library patrons, but it's really the best way to move forward and the only way to move forward.
The big concern for me was making sure that we were keeping our staff safe, and there's that sort of push and pull of our community really wants us open, but we can't be open if our staff isn't healthy. The public library is as much about the people as it is the buildings that we have in all of our communities. And I've said a number of times to my team and to all of our staff throughout this pandemic that I'm hopeful and I'm optimistic that when we get on the other side of this, the library can play a really prominent role in helping our community rebuild even stronger. And it truly is heartbreaking to not be able to be a place where the community congregates right now. For us, it's been a very delicate balance of trying to be as accessible as possible to our community, but without becoming part of the problem of spreading COVID-19. So keep our community safe as well.
So the challenges of 2020 are not over just yet. But Jason feels, in the past 3 years since our last interview, that he has learned a great deal, and that he is now more so than ever eager to assist the library staff in conquering any obstacle the future may hold.
We'll say that one of the things that helped me keep going in this work, especially when we're dealing with so many different problems right now. Our communities are in crisis in a number of different ways. Is the appreciation I've heard from our staff around strong leadership. One of the biggest challenges for us as an institution, even going back to the library transitioning into a new director, there's so much uncertainty for our staff, so much uncertainty for the community. And then moving into this pandemic, that uncertainty is exponentially increased. The strong leadership at the local level, at the state level, at the federal level, those are the sort of things that help people navigate these difficult times. And I've heard from our staff and from community members that they've really appreciated our leadership team's attention to open communication with the staff, with the community. So that's the kind of thing, that reassurance that we're doing the right work. It's kind of what helps keep me going as a leader in this institution.
I'm Haley Taylor, and thanks for listening to this episode of the Rough Draft Diaries.